You see her across the room, and for just a moment your eyes meet. She smiles, looks away, then glances back. You feel that spark, that possibility. But then what happens? You walk over, strike up a conversation, maybe get her number. You text her constantly. You're always available. You shower her with attention. And slowly, that spark dies. She becomes distant, less responsive, until eventually she's just gone. Sound familiar? Here's what most men don't realize. The very thing you think will win her over is actually pushing her away. Today, I'm going to show you the psychological principles that create genuine attraction and fascination in women, without playing games or being someone you're not. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some men effortlessly draw women to them while others, no matter how hard they try, remain invisible. The biggest mistake men make is thinking that availability equals attraction. You believe that by being constantly present, always responsive, always accommodating, you're showing her how much you care. But here's the psychological truth. Predictability kills desire. When you're always there, always the same, always available at her beck and call, you become emotionally invisible to her. Women are wired to be attracted to emotional intensity, not comfort. Think about it this way. Comfort is what she feels with her best friend or her brother. But attraction, that comes from uncertainty, from emotional peaks and valleys, from the thrill of not knowing what comes next. When you eliminate all mystery from your interactions, you eliminate the space where desire grows. This is why she might text you when she's bored, but she fantasizes about the guy who's less available. It's not that she wants to be treated poorly, it's that her brain is hardwired to find uncertainty compelling. The human mind is designed to focus on what it can't fully predict or control. When you make yourself completely predictable, you inadvertently make yourself forgettable. Let's talk about energy, because this is where most men completely miss the mark. When you walk into a room, what energy are you projecting? Are you scanning for approval? Are you trying to prove your worth through your words? Or are you centered in yourself, grounded in your own value, regardless of who's watching? Women can sense desperation from across a room. They can feel when a man needs their validation to feel good about himself. And that neediness, no matter how politely it's packaged, is deeply unattractive. But when you carry yourself like someone who knows his own worth, who has his own mission and purpose, who would be perfectly fine with or without any particular woman's attention, that's magnetic. Here's the key. It's not about being arrogant or dismissive. It's about being genuinely self-assured. There's a massive difference between fake confidence, which women see right through, and authentic self-possession, which draws them in like gravity. Your voice carries more power than you realize. Most men speak from their throat when they're nervous or trying to impress. But speaking from your chest, with a slightly lower tone and deliberate pace, communicates something primal. It says you're not rushing, you're not anxious, you're in control of yourself in the moment. The way you make eye contact matters tremendously. Not the awkward, intense stare that makes people uncomfortable, but that calm, confident gaze that holds just long enough to create a moment between you two. Then you look away with a slight smile, leaving her wondering what you were thinking. That wondering, that curiosity, that's the beginning of fascination. Here's something most men never consider. You don't need to touch someone to create sexual tension. You create it through implication, through the space between what you say and what you mean. Learn to speak in layers. Say something that could be completely innocent, but if her mind goes there, she knows there's a deeper meaning. Let her imagination do the work for you. But here's the crucial part. You must have genuine substance behind the intrigue. This isn't about playing games or manipulating anyone. It's about becoming genuinely interesting. Have your own passions, your own goals, your own life that exists independently of any woman's attention. When she senses that you're a complete person with or without her, that's when she starts wondering how she can become part of your world. Unpredictability is your secret weapon, but it must be authentic unpredictability. Sometimes be the calm, mysterious guy who speaks in measured tones. Other times, let your playful side show through. Reveal different facets of your personality gradually, like layers of an onion. This emotional range keeps her guessing, and when she's guessing, she's thinking about you. The timing of physical contact is an art form. Most men either move too fast or wait too long. The key is to read her signals and match her energy. Start with brief, almost accidental touches. Let her body language tell you when she's ready for more. When you do escalate, make it feel inevitable, like everything that came before was building to that moment. Remember, true fascination isn't just about physical attraction. It's about creating an emotional experience she can't get anywhere else. It's about being the man who makes her feel more alive, more feminine, more desired than anyone else ever has. But you can only give that gift when you're not desperate to receive anything in return. Most women aren't starving for compliments or gifts or grand gestures. They're starving for presence. For that rare masculine energy that doesn't waver under pressure, that doesn't need constant reassurance, that simply exists powerfully in its own right. When you embody that energy, something interesting happens. She starts chasing the feeling of being around you. This is why the men women obsess over aren't necessarily the most handsome or wealthy. They're the ones who make women feel something intense and unforgettable. They create emotional experiences that linger long after they've left the room. The ultimate goal isn't to make her obsessed in an unhealthy way. It's to become the kind of man she genuinely can't stop thinking about, because being around you awakens parts of herself she forgot existed. You become associated with feeling fully alive, fully feminine, fully desired. Here's what happens when you master this. You don't need to chase because she comes to you. You don't need to convince because she's already convinced herself. You don't need to prove your worth because your energy speaks for itself. She'll find herself thinking about you at random moments, replaying conversations, imagining scenarios, comparing every other man to you. The transformation starts with you deciding to stop seeking external validation and start building internal worth. Develop your own interests, your own mission, your own unshakable sense of self. When you know who you are and what you stand for, that certainty becomes incredibly attractive. Practice speaking with intention. Practice moving through the world like you belong wherever you are. Practice being comfortable with silence, comfortable with mystery, comfortable with not always being understood or approved of immediately. Most importantly, practice being genuinely interested in her as a person while remaining detached from the outcome. When you can engage fully while being prepared to walk away if she's not right for you, that's true power. The man who understands these principles never has to chase because he becomes worth pursuing. He doesn't need to manipulate because his authentic self is naturally compelling. He doesn't need to play games because he genuinely is the prize she hopes to win. This isn't about changing who you are fundamentally. It's about becoming the fullest, most authentic version of yourself and learning to express that in a way that naturally creates attraction and fascination. If this resonates with you, take action on it. Start today. Stop being available to everyone and start being valuable to the right people. Stop seeking approval and start earning respect. Stop chasing and start attracting. Because when you get this right, she won't just want to be with you. She'll wonder how she ever lived without the way you make her feel.